Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be showing you the rest of the things I received in June, to include the things I purchased during Amazon Prime Days. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. All right, so the way that I'm going to segment this video is by supplies and coloring books. It's actually not a lot of either, so I'm hoping the video will be fairly short, but I am either a really slow fast talker or a fast slow talker, so they tend to be a little bit longer than I anticipate. All right, so let's just get started. Now, this wasn't something that I purchased during Prime Days. I actually purchased this in the beginning of the month, but in the haul that I did about a week or so ago, I forgot to mention this because it was already put away. And so I did pick up these mini Ranger Tim Holtz Distress inks. I did get them from Amazon. I had been looking at these for quite some time. If you follow junk journal videos, you know that they use a lot of these colors, but I couldn't bring myself to purchase something if all I was going to do was just ink some edges and things for a junk journal. It seemed like a waste of money. And so I've just been holding off, and then I've seen people in the coloring book community use these for backgrounds. And then I also, not found out, but in my last planner journal scavenger hunt video, I used them as a background to my spread, and I think these would work great in a planner, especially if you mask sections off. So I like that I'm able to use this in a multiple of my creative hobbies, and that way I get my money's worth. Now, in the junk journaling community, they tend to favor these more muted neutral colors, but in the coloring books that I've been using them in, I've actually been using more of these. So I think it's a great pack. The way that I purchased it, it was 3 packs of 4, and they predetermined the packs. I think this is sets 1 through 3. They have a variety of different sets. I don't know that I'm going to be purchasing anymore. This seems to run the gamut of what I need by way of colors. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. And then because I knew that I was purchasing these, I did look for some of these as well. This actually probably shows you a little bit better, but it's designed as a makeup brush, but it's marketed, at least the set that I bought, as a crafter blending brush. It is a dense brush, but it's very soft, and so it works really well on the page. This is the only kind of blending brush I have. I know that Ranger Tim Holtz, I think they have their own line of blender brushes that people use with these, but I decided to get that one instead. And the set that I bought has a variety of different sizes. So I believe this one is the smallest one, and then they get progressively bigger from there. So that, again, I purchased from Amazon prior to Prime Day. The next thing I purchased was this monster here. Now, if you guys have been watching my completed pages or just my coloring videos in general, there's not a lot, but there are some. I've mentioned previously that it is difficult for me to get alcohol markers on Amazon. If there are 50 listings that I'm checking, 48 of them will tell me that the seller will not send to my area region. I do live in Hawaii, so I guess that's why. But more often than not, none of the links that I click on work. I get that same message. I have learned not to get too excited if I see a really good deal. There's actually quite a few really good deals for Prime Days on alcohol markers, but I was able to get this one. Now, I think originally it was like $55, and then they brought it down to $40, and it's this here, and the brand is Lineon, and as you can see on the bag, there's 171 colors and 1 blender. It did come with a swatch chart and this marker pad. I haven't opened this up, and I haven't used any of these, but that is a fantastic array of colors. It is a kind of square barrel, and like my original Ohuhus, they do have a really secure cover. A broad tip, like you can see there, that's like a chisel tip. And then there is the fine tip. Now, I have both fine tips with the broad and then broad tips with the brush, and I have to say more often than not, I prefer the fine. Unless I'm working in a big area or I need to like cover a face, then I can see the brush pens working better. But I think I get a little bit more control with the fine tip, and I didn't think so, but yeah, I do, because I actually have both kinds. So like I said, I think this was like 40 something dollars. This is going to stay in reserve. Now the Ohuhus that I'm using is an 80 count that I picked up from Walmart, because they'll send to me, but Amazon won't. So I'm just going to keep this on the side for now. Clearly, if that's an 80 set and this is a 170 set, I have way more colors here. If I want to use the older stuff that I have, and older means like 3 months old, before I move into here. But I love that there's so many different grays and reds and pinks and greens. So I am definitely looking forward to this. Okay, so while I can't get any regular Ohuhu markers, either the brush tip and the chisel or the fine tip and the chisel, whichever their regular colors are, I can't get any of those. I have been able to get the skin tone set that they have, and that's what made me think, oh, well, maybe there are some available to send to me. And on Prime Days, I was able to get this set, their pastel set. Now, I know pastel is trending here in the coloring book community by way of these markers. I've seen quite a few people with them. The Holbein pastels, the new Astralos that are coming out, I think from Poland. And so people are really loving these colors. I actually generally don't go for pastels, but I find that when I'm coloring in my mythographics or my coloring heaven, I don't do a lot of shading by way of pencil, but I do want to do a little bit of shading with other alcohol markers, and even the lightest colors in my regular set are still a little dark. So I figured if I base in something that's really light and then just add a little bit more shading with the darker hues of these colors, then I'll get the look that I want. Because I really love alcohol markers, because they make quick work of very detailed pages. That's why I really enjoy my mythographic books, because I'm going to do a base layer, a little bit of shading with marker, and then call it a day. I don't get too detailed with pencil work or whatnot, just because then it would just be not even so much overwhelming for me, but it would just take too long. And I want to play in all my stuff. And if I'm spending a million hours on a mythographic book that has a million different tiny little things, yeah, I'm not into that. But that was the last of the supplies. And I also, like I mentioned, bought this on Prime Days. Now, Prime Days is over, but I will link them below just in case you want to check them out. I know that Amazon runs deals and they have sliding scales for the prices all the time, but at least you can see what the links look like. Okay, so let me clear up my desk and I'll show you the coloring books. Okay, so this one is one I had ordered prior to Prime Days. This actually came from Amazon Japan, and I believe it's called the Disney Travel or the Disney World Travel Coloring Book. I don't know who the artist is. If I can find that when I'm editing, then I'll put it on the screen. I will link this below. Yeah, I think I can link to Amazon Japan. I'm not an affiliate with Amazon Japan, but just in case you're interested. I saw this in someone's collection coloring book video, and I thought this is perfect. If you've been watching, I don't actually own a lot of Disney. The only one that I actually have is the Thomas Kincaid one, and I'm pretty over that one. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't spark any joy, and so I'm not gonna waste my time coloring in a book because I have it, and I'll talk about that more when I do my collection video. The reason I really, really wanted this one is it does have quite a variety of Disney characters. Now, there is Moana and Coco in here. I don't know how well you can see this. So it's not all just the classic Disney. There are some newer things in here. And then I think Moana is right there. There might even be Lilo and Stitch in here as well. But I really love the tracing aspect, like the Eerie books. I love the tracing Eerie books, and so I loved that. I loved that they are detailed, that there are Disney characters, like on this entire 2-page spread. It's only Mickey right there, but it's not geared towards children because I don't like the coloring books for kids, not for me personally, and that there's no Zentangly aspect to it. Some of the ones that you can pick up from Amazon US are nice images, but there's that Zentangly feel, and I know you can color over it, but I don't like the look of it. And so I think it's just a really nice coloring book, and I have been very eager for this to arrive and then color in it. And I'll show you the one page that I've started. And when I was flipping through this, I don't know why, because Pooh is not one of my favorite characters. I really was transfixed by this. So I did do the outlining. You can see the difference between the 2 pages. And I am using my Brett Funners on this. I think one of the reasons why I don't tend to favor Disney specifically is because with Disney characters, they are so iconic. I feel the need to color them in the way that they are originally colored. So you're always going to see Pooh in his kind of orange yellowish skin with his red shirt. Minnie Mouse is always going to be black with either a red dress or a pink dress. And so I don't know that I necessarily like that, but I wouldn't color Pooh or Minnie or Goofy or Pluto in anything but their original colors. I would never color him purple and green. I would never do that. And so there is that aspect of it, but I still think I'm going to have a lot of fun in here. And some of the Disney things are just like Daisy and Donald, Mickey and Minnie. I think that's really cute. I don't know. I was really excited when I saw this. Now, I'm horrible at flip throughs. I'm going to tell you that right now. If anything I am hauling today you'd like to see, let me know. And I'll either do a flip through or I'll find one who does it better. And then I'll just link that video because again, I'm really bad at them. But this is one I bought from Amazon Japan, and it is Disney World Travel coloring book, and it's a tracing book. Again, I'm not sure who the artist is. This one is Big Little World by Radu Frazee, I think it is. Now there was no Amazon deal on it, although I did buy it during Amazon Days. I was on YouTube, which I am usually on throughout the day, and I saw a flip through of this. So he is an independent artist. He actually has several different books on Amazon. It is a smaller book. So this is World of Flowers, Joanna Basford. Her books are pretty standard except for her Inky and Ivy or Ivy and Inky. And this is how this one stacks up. So it's probably like an 8x8 size. And I think it's really cute. The reason why I got this was, one, I like to support an independent artist, but I actually really like the images because I saw the flip through. And it gives me the nice little tone vibes, but without all of the mice and without any of the background. And so it's just all of these little cute whimsical homes. And I think it's just really sweet. Now in some of these images, like this one right here, I can see doing like a tree or a mountain or a river or just some sort of background, just freehand in the style of either Eerie or Joanna Basford. I think that would look really cute with this. And all I would do is either look at my How to Draw Inky Wonderlands or open one of her books or one of Erie's books and just sort of mimic the style that I see on the page. So I think it'll be interesting. It is one-sided. The paper is thin. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the image on the other side, but because it's one-sided, it doesn't matter. But as Create Space paper goes, it feels like there might be a little bit of a texture to it. So I don't know how well pencils will work on here. I know alcohol markers should work a treat, although because it is very thin and probably very porous, it'll soak it up. And then regular water markers should work well on this as well. But yeah, that's Big Little World by Radu Frazy. I picked up Fairy Tales by Emily Lidhall Oberg, and this book has been suggested on my Amazon page since probably January when I started purchasing coloring books from Amazon. And I have resisted this one because I've seen it and I've seen people do flip throughs and completed pages, but some of the artwork I'm not sure about. And it's specifically having to do with the people. To me, I'm getting very Russian folk doll kind of vibes, and maybe it's because most of the other girls in the books that I have are very pretty or very delicate or very soft looking. They're very stylized, beautiful, and this is very stylized, but in a completely different way. And so I totally was resisting. But during Prime Days, during the Prime Days itself, because I think there was a different deal going on prior to that, you can buy one, get one at half off. And so I looked at the listing of books. Poet Spice actually told me about that. She had put up a video. And so I thought, okay, you know what? It's a good deal for this one. I don't have this artist. Worst case scenario, I get it. I don't like it. I'll just unhaul it. Okay, so I actually really like this book. And this is the one page that I've done thus far. And basically it's all grays and a black. And I love how that looks. It's actually only 5 pencils. And this paper is an off-white. There is a little bit of tooth. It is not as smooth as an Erie book. And it just takes the pencils beautifully. I was using my Prismas in here. And right before doing this page, I was working out of an Erie book with Prismas, and they didn't go down as nicely as they did in here. So I really like that. And a lot of the artwork I like something like this to me is not very intimidating. Whether I'll color it, that remains to be seen. I'm not a huge fan of birds, but I do like the artwork in here. And I think I will tackle a page with a person on and see how I feel about it. Because it is such a stylized picture, I might just go out of my comfort zone. Instead of trying to get, a human skin tone, I might do her all up in purples or greens or whatever. It is very whimsical, very fanciful, but in a very specific way. And so yeah, I'm actually excited about this one. I was about, I'm getting it for a good price. How bad can it be? And I was pleasantly surprised about how many really cute images are in here, even if, I don't necessarily understand or like how the girls look. But I haven't colored one yet, so maybe it'll be different when there's actually color on the page. But that's this one, Fairy Tales by Emily Lidhall Oberg. And the last one I want to show you is this one. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is exactly how it got to me. I got this at the end of last week. It is currently Tuesday the 29th. I'm filming on my lunch break. And at first I didn't understand what was going on, because I don't know if you can see that there are some flaws here, but the cover came all banged up like this. There's writing on her face. And you would think this is the cover by way of how that is. But it is not. So that truly was a misprint on the publisher or Amazon's behalf. I don't know who actually printed this. It is a Gibbs Smith book, so I'm assuming that it got made this way by Gibbs Smith. But I'm not gonna lie, this makes me laugh every time I look at it. I'm like, oh, poor Flora. She's got all these words on her face because this is supposed to be here and that's supposed to be there. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like it has seen better days because it's just a bit scuffed, but there's nothing wrong with the edges and there's nothing wrong with the book. So I'm keeping it. I think this is funny. So is it going to be, you know, as pristine as other people have? No. Mine is unique and I couldn't be happier about that. If there was misprinting on the pages, then I would look into getting a new one, but there's no reason for it. This is mine now. And so this is Flora, and I'm not gonna lie, I got it because it was the other one that I purchased, the buy one get one half off or whatever the deal was. And I thought, okay, well, I mean, I like my Luna, so let me get this one. And I have to say, I think I might like this one more. Maria Trolle, Hannah Carlzon, Emily Oberg, they have very particular ways of drawing girls, and they're not so, what's the word? Hers is definitely more whimsical. Hannah Carlzon is a little bit more realistic, but not really. Emily Oberg is definitely more fanciful, more folk arty. And then you have people like Camille Derrico or Hannah Lynn or Jasmine Beckett Griffith, who have very pretty, gorgeous girls. And so in some aspects, those are kind of intimidating because they are just so pretty and you want to do justice. These are kind of intimidating because do you color them like people? Do you color them like fairies? I mean, ultimately, you color the way you want to color. It's just, it's such an interesting dynamic between the various artists' renditions of girls and guys and just people in their coloring books. And so I don't know. To me, I love looking at the artwork in coloring books, and then it just makes me excited to just add some color to the page and see what I can create. Now, I have not colored anything in this one yet. I did just get this like last week, but it is one of the ones that I want to get to. I will be doing my completed pages video probably after work today. I don't know that I'm going to be able to finish anything else up before the 30th of June, but I will be coloring, and I do have quite a bit of whips, and so I want to get those taken care of before I move on to anything new. So yeah, probably a longer video than I anticipated because I just chat because we're hanging out and we're looking at stuff. But I'd love to know what you guys had got in Prime Days. If you got anything, whether it's coloring book or journal or crafting related, I'd love to know in the comments below. All right, guys, well, that's it for me and Flora from now. And as always, aloha.